Howdy and welcome again to BCIS 1305. I'm going to go over the Word Chapter 1 guided project. Now if you happen to have bought the hard copy of the book, it's really nice to go to page W150 and the instructions are right there. So that means that you can look at the instructions and keep your finger on the instructions as you do the actual work. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to get into eCampus. Now there are several ways to do this, and I showed you in the opening video about Symbaloo and creating bookmarks for yourself and making your life a whole lot easier. So this is not the course that you're going to be in. This is a master course that I'm working with. It is a new course that we're developing, but everything will be pretty much the same. Don't forget that you have these distance learning tutorials link here, so that if you have questions about eCampus, you can find the answers right here. All right, now we want to go to the Content tab. As it says right here, Content, Content, everything is in Content. One of the great things about eCampus is that it knows where you were when you were last in eCampus, and I was last in Unit 2, Chapter 1 of Word. So it brings me back to that location. Always, always, always use your checklist. That's how you will make certain that you have done everything that you need to do. So as you can see, I can check it off that I've done it, and that is just glorious. So I'm going to click on this. And the great thing about this is that you don't have to previously do your registration. If you haven't registered, it's going to take you to a registration page for your Sim account. All right, I want to view this as a student because naturally you're going to view it as a student. So we have several things here. We have a start file, best practices, and a solution. It's worth your time to read the best practices because guess what? They know all of the problems that people encounter, and they try to tell you ahead of time so that you don't have to make all those mistakes yourself. So read that, utilize it, and I will show you one dirty little secret about me. And this is it. I have a gazillion tabs open all the time. However, I have a very powerful computer and I have a very high-speed internet connection. If you do not have those things and you're trying to download these and do everything in SimNet, you're going to need to actually close out all the things that you don't need so that you have more bandwidth available. And this is really nice here that we have the guided project, the instructions toggle between Windows and Mac. Nice, nice. However, it should detect the operating system that you have. So we have the best practices. We have the start file. When I click on that, it pops it right down there. Now we have the solution, which is really, really nice. You can look at it before you turn it in, and you can see if your file looks the same. Now down here for instructions, this is really interesting. If I click on instructions, it looks like nothing happens. So you have to scroll down, and there are the instructions, but they are also on page W1-50. So now we'll go ahead and get started, and let's see, that's the PDF. That is my Word document. So the first thing you want to do is save this somewhere that you are going to keep all of your files for all of your projects. So I'm going to do save as. I don't want to put it in downloads. I'm going to go here because this is the directory I want. I want 1920 and I want textbook exercises. And I don't really need this 4 in here. That says I've downloaded it 4 times, which tells you how many times I have done this video before I was happy with it. So let's hope number 4 I'm happy with. Save. One of the most frequent mistakes that students make is that they turn in the original file instead of their updated file whenever they submit it for grading. And then they want to know why they got a 3. Well, that's why you submitted the wrong file. That's why I suggest that you put those where you will have them always, and you won't accidentally, because if you use recent files, which you shouldn't, you should actually go to where the directory where you save things, then you will have those problems. All right, so we have saved it, and it already says it has our name there. Good, good, good. So now we're going to change the line and paragraph spacing for the entire document. So the first thing we're going to do is do Control A, and that's going to select the entire document. Now I'm going to just warn you that when I scroll, the resolution is going to end up being a little bit bad, but just give it a second and the resolution will improve. So I'll try to scroll slowly and hope that this works out better than the last one did. So Control A, we've selected it all. We want to click the paragraph launcher right there. Love, love, love the little launchers. And there's all my paragraph settings. I want to click line spacing multiple 1.2. Line spacing right there, multiple, and I'm going to type in over here in this little box 1.2. And I'm going to click OK to close the paragraph dialog box. There we go. And then I want to delete the blank lines in the document. I'm going to turn on the ShowHide button right here. And I usually leave my paragraph mark showing because I actually really like that, because it tells me spaces and all of the non-printing characters show up, and it makes it much easier. So now we just click on each one, or click before each one, delete, 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 delete. That's it. Okay, we've deleted them all. I missed one instruction there. Control A. Again, I'm going to do Control A to select it all, and I'm going to pull the paragraph launcher again. So this is a really easy thing to do, and only because I've done these things 4 times do I know this. Because number 3E says change the after paragraph spacing to 12 points. So I've got after paragraph, and I could use the radio buttons, but I prefer just to type in 12. And then hit OK. Now, doesn't that look a lot better? And that is actually the correct way to do spacing between your paragraphs, not to add an extra line. And what makes a paragraph in Microsoft Word? It's this paragraph mark. So everywhere there's a paragraph mark, including the ones that were here, those are considered paragraphs, which is why we deleted them. Now we're going to change the font on the entire document. So again, we're going to use Control A to select the entire document, and we're going to change the font to Cambria. Now, because I've done this 2 or 3 times, Cambria is up here in my recently used fonts. If it's not in yours, then you would just scroll down to Cambria. There we go. That's a nice font. Got to turn the book over. Now we're going to change paragraph spacing, alignment, font, styles, effects, and color of the title. So this is interesting. Every time you come to a new instruction, like these are the numbered instructions, this is number 6 on page W151, it tells you what you're going to do before it gives you the instructions to do it. So A says select the title online learning information. So when I click once, I place my cursor. When I click twice, I select one word. When I click 3 times, it selects an entire paragraph, which is really a productivity helper. So I'm going to click 3 times, it selects the entire paragraph. I'm going to click the Layout tab. I'm going to change the before spacing to 36 points. So before, right here, 36. And the after to 18. And I'm going to click the center button on the Home tab, center button. And then I'm going to click the font launcher. Now I'm going to deliberately leave something out of here because I want you to see the information that it tells you when things are wrong. So on the font launcher it says change the style to bold, 24. Let's just change it to 26 and then I'll show you. But it said 24. You do 24, okay? Now, click small caps. In the effects, click the font color drop-down box and choose the 4th color on the first row. 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. And we're going to click the Advanced tab. And we're going to click Spacing on the drop-down list right here. Expanded by 1.2. Type that in and click OK. There, that's a nice title. Okay, now we're going to move paragraphs and insert a heading. So we're going to select the last paragraph. Now remember, 1, 2, 3 selects the entire paragraph. That's a whole lot faster than your little old drag and select. I'm going to click the cut button or do Control X. I prefer Control X. It is gone. Place your insertion point before the second line of the document. Definition of online modalities. Place my insertion point right there and click Paste or Control V. I love Control V. So I put Control V in. Now we're going to click the beginning of the paragraph. Where are we now with online learning? Click at the beginning of the pasted paragraph and type, where are we now? W-H-E-R-E. Oh, you need to use your capitalization exactly like they do. And press enter after typing that so that the following is a new paragraph. And we need to remove that extra space there. Select the paragraph that begins with hybrid course. And again, 1, 2, 3, and it is selected. Move this paragraph using the drag and drop method so it appears before the paragraph that begins with television or teleweb course. All right, just grab, drag, see your cursor moving there? There we go. Accomplish that one. Now I got to turn the page to the next instruction. Our next task, number 8, on page W1-52 is format section headings in the document and use Format Painter. So we're going to select the first section heading. Where are we now in online learning? Right there. And that's the whole paragraph. We're going to click the font launcher box. There it is, launcher box. And the font tab, we're still on advanced because that's where we were last time we used it. We're going to change the size to 12 points. We're going to choose the fourth color in the first row. That color. We're going to change the underline style to double underline, and change the underline color to the fourth color. So underline color right here, fourth color. And click OK. There we go. We have a beautiful header. Now, to confirm that the formatted heading is still selected, and click Text Effects and Typography. So if you look up here in the font box and you hover over that, it says Text Effects and Typography. So your tooltips, those are your friends. That's text highlight color, font color, but also the book showed you all of these things, and then the pictures that are in the instructions in the book are quite helpful. So click here, and then it wants us to place your pointer on shadow right there, and then we get a flyout, and it wants us to choose the first option in the outer category. So we have categories here: no shadow, outer, inner, and perspective, and it wants us to choose the first one in outer. And it's supposed to be offset bottom right. There we go. Confirm that the header is still selected, which it is, and click Format Painter. Now we want to select the heading Definition of Online Learning Modalities, and it's going to paint all of those formats that we did on that header as well. So that's a very handy thing, and you're going to really enjoy Format Painter in Excel as well. So now we want to format the paragraph headings in the document So the first thing we're going to do is select the first paragraph heading, Online Course. So, and we do want to select the colon as well. And we click the font launcher box again. And we're going to go to bold. And we're going to choose the fourth color in the first row, which is the same color we've been choosing. And we're going to click small caps. Now notice, it's giving us a preview of what it's going to look like down here. And click OK. There we go, that's beautiful. Now we're going to use Format Painter to copy the formatting to the other paragraph headers. So when you click on Format Painter once, you can use it once. So I've got this highlighted. I'm going to click Format Painter. After I use it once, it automatically turns off. Notice my cursor, I can't do it anymore. However, if I double click Format Painter, I can use it as many times as I want. I didn't really want it to do that, so Control Z is my friend. And now I have to do it again. And your cursor can be anywhere in there. It doesn't have to have the entire thing selected. I just clicked it once then again. But if you double click it and you're using it, then you hit the escape key or click the button again to turn it off. So it's just as simple as click, 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 drag, and all of your formats are copied. So now we want to correct spelling and grammar in the document using the context menu. So it wants us to right-click Management and fix it. And Potion. So Potion, where did Potion go? There it is. We want that to be Portion instead of Potion. And now we can click these and click Ignore Once or Ignore All. It's telling us it's passive voice, and sometimes we just do use passive voice. And why are those capitalized? Because they're referring to a specific time period, not generally in fall or generally. So there we go. We can get rid of all of our squiggly lines. All right, now I'm flipping the page over to W153, and it wants me to select the sentence in parentheses at the end of the document. So scroll down here. Here we go. Select it, including the parentheses, and go to the font group and hit italics or do Control I. I do Control I because in the long run it's actually faster than going up there. Now this next section I can't show you because it says to use the Read Aloud feature, and the version of Word that I am using does not have that, but it tells you and it gives you very specific instructions that you're going to go to the Review tab and the speech group. And as you can see here, I do not have speech group. The good thing about this is it just wants you to learn how to use this feature, which is really handy, especially if you're an auditory learner, to read something aloud to you. Now, on instruction 14, we want to add document properties using the properties dialog box. So we're going to go File, and we're going to go, this is the Backstage view. And this is the properties that it's talking about. And then it wants us to go to the Advanced Properties tab, which is where we can define our own properties. On the Summary tab, it wants us to put online learning information. And the subject, it wants online learning. And it wants us to change the author to Tanisha Morris. And click OK. And go back to the document. Now it wants you to save, close the document, and submit it. So I just did Control S, which I didn't have to necessarily do. Now let's go back over here and submit. So I first have to upload my file, and I don't want to be in textbook. I do want to be in 1920, but I want to be in textbook exercises. And let me go back here and show you one other thing in textbook. This file explorer works like Excel, and you can sort it by whatever you want. When you click it, it reverses the sort order. So there it's in alpha order starting with A, and now it's in alpha descending. So to find the last file you worked on, you click Date Modified and it brings it up to the top. Now this is not the file that we want. This is the file from yesterday. So I have to go back over here and go to Textbook Exercises, and it's the only file in here. Double click. Yes, submit my file. We'll see how well I did, and we know that I made one mistake because I did it deliberately. We need music, don't we? I guess I'll have to think of some poetry to recite or something while we wait for SimNet to grade the project. We could just say the colors. Wow, this is taking a long time. Alrighty, it took even longer because I actually paused the recording. So here, this is saying that my problem was in 6. 6 is on here, and it says change the spacing to 36 points before and after. I got 0.5 out of 1, so there you go. I missed that one. And then change the font style to bold and the font size to 24. So it tells you exactly what you got wrong, and you have more than one submission to get this right. So learn to utilize everything that is at your fingertips. And this is really nice. Download your submitted file, because if you come back and it's completely errors, but the beautiful thing is that it actually shows you your file as well as showing you where the errors are. And so I really do like this, and I think that it will help you to be successful. All right, y'all, do well and then finish all the rest of them and move on.